All right, so back in the garage, second day. I'm not going to get as much done today because I'm by myself and I got a very late start. But we're going to get the Olds outside and just keep taking paint off of it. The door is still gurgling away over here. It's going to be a couple days before that's all done and ready to be pulled out of there and cleaned out. Because of the shape of the container and because I punched a hole in the side, I'm not going to be able to soak the underside as much as I'd like to, which is a bummer because I would have loved to have the entire bottom 4 or 5 inches cleaned with the vinegar and derusted. But if I can get the inside derusted to a point where I can't with a grinder or whatever, just because I can't get in there, I'll feel like that's a win. So maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after, that'll get pulled out of there, rinsed, and then I can start rust-proofing paint on the inside of it so that can get the next step moving forward. I want to get the whole car stripped, and I'm still working very hard at that, but I'm realizing I need to start getting the primer on some of these panels to seal them up, but each one's got some little thing that it needs before it can do that. Most of it's just dealing with the surface rust. So yeah, but the door and the other door, both I want to get derusted on the inside since I already have them off the car. I'll feel really foolish putting them back on the car to take them back off the car to derust them. So they're going to get that done. They're going to get the little pinholes at the bottom welded up on the outside skin, and then it's going to get rust paint on the inside, and it's going to get the outside primered. The hood, I need to deal with all of this pitting. I'm going to go through and when I get to this panel, I'm going to go through and sand all of this down to try and get more of it off. And then once I get as far as I can with that, I'm going to use some OSFO type stuff to basically clean these pits out. I'm going to spray it on, give the whole thing a very thorough scrubbing, and then clean that off. I can actually leave it if I put the OSFO on, I can then leave it in metal because that'll give it a protective coating. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Maybe I'll do that because that'll let me hold panels longer. But whatever. Let's get this thing out of the garage so that I can get to work on it again. You saw me, my friend did most of this, but I went in today and sort of did more of the edges and kind of did a go over. And most of the panel's fine. The damage under the trim is a little more severe on this than on the doors, but it's still not severe. Like, this is going to get cleaned up, it's going to get derusted, and then I'm probably going to put just the thinnest bit of Bondo just to smooth it out. But that's not a problem. All down here is good. Again, surface rust that's going to need to be dealt with, but no, that's all perfectly solid. Working on the trunk lid, this is taking forever. Weirdly, this paint, there's less layers and it's in better condition, which actually makes it harder to get off because it's more solidly attached. And when it's thicker, each layer helps get the layer off underneath it in its weird sort of way. So this is taking forever and it's not coming off super well. You're seeing it's a lot of residue left. I went at it with the sander a little bit, but I didn't have a harsh enough grit sandpaper. I'm going to go back over this whole thing, probably with a DA, and just, that'll help clean it up some. And then, knowing what I know now on the other side, I went over and did some exploratory grinding on this side. The other side has a couple pinholes right here, which this side doesn't seem to have. I knew about this problem. That's going to be a pain in the butt to fix. But going through over here, that's maybe all the way through. Obviously this and this is all definitely all the way through. This is less damaged than the other side. Like, there's nothing down here, and there's more up here. Or not more up here, but there's less up here, but it goes all the way up. So it's better than the other side, but it's not really great compared to the other side. This door is definitely worse. The other side needs a couple pinholes welded up. This side's got damage here that I'm almost certainly going to end up cutting out. There's a pinhole here, but judging by what's around it, I suspect that's going to get cut out. And then there's damage all through here. So I may end up... I mean, I don't want to do a full patch across the bottom, but I might have to. We'll find out on that. This door seems to be pretty solid. I'm assuming the bottom of that fender is going to be shot like the other one. If it isn't, I'll call that a pleasant surprise. But this side is different than the other side, but not substantively better or worse. This is the most frustrating part because this is going to be kind of a pain in the butt to fix. Obviously this trim comes off and that'll give me some access, but I'm going to have to make a patch that goes in here and whatever. But I'm making progress. It's slow, but it's making progress. Yeah, I pulled that bumper out to try and just test fit it, but this bracket assumes it's going to go either, see how this has a hole in the fender? I think the Pontiacs have a similar thing, and that bracket would go through that hole in the fender. So I need to crack the bolts loose on this bracket and get it off, see if I can feed it through and if it bolts up to the Oldsmobile holes, and then I can test fit and do the same thing on the other side. But I was just curious. It just, whatever. I have found no problems with the trunk lid. I am so over, after the other surprises, I'm over the moon about that. The trunk lid is completely fine. There's no sign, like there's no rust whatsoever down here. Not even the littlest. I've found no significant things. There's a tiniest little bit of rust pitting where the trim used to be here, but even that's so minor I may be able to sand it out. And there's a little tiny dent right there. This little dent is my biggest problem. There's surface rust on the inside here, but it's not anything I'm significantly worried about. The rust, just because I have the trunk open, the floors are solid back here. There's no problems with them. I've had this tire out. There's no problems in the spare tire well. Obviously this whole trunk needs to be redone, but so does everything else in the car. So that's it for today. I'm feeling happy because I am visibly making progress now. The car is now, ignoring the roof, the car is definitely more than 50% stripped. With the roof, I'm probably closer to 50% stripped. But yeah, it's getting along. I may end up leaving the roof for now. I'm not gonna stress too much if I don't get to the roof for now, because if I end up with the roof paint doesn't seem horrific. So if it doesn't seem horrific when I get the Plastidip off of it, I may end up just leaving it for the time being, because I've got elaborate plans for the paint on that roof. So there's no reason to strip it now if I'm not going to get to that for a while, and the white looks presentable. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Talk to you later.